When I was a kid, Maltesers were my favourite chocolate, and honestly, they're still very addictive for me. And I also love to make so many different versions of chocolate cupcakes, so it goes without saying that I just had to create a Malteser chocolate cupcake. Here we go. Room temperature ingredients. You've got your egg, your milk and your oil, and mix those together. Caster sugar and brown sugar because I wanted to have a little bit of caramelization in this because it's a malty flavor. Then add your flour, bicarb, baking powder and cocoa powder. You just mix in everything until it's just combined. Now normally this is where I add my coffee to my cupcake recipes, but here I actually added some Horlicks because I needed the consistency to be runny still, but I really wanted to incorporate that malty flavor into the cupcakes. I don't have a fancy ice cream scoop and this is too runny to just spoon in, so I used what I could. Bake those in the oven, and when they're cooling, move on to the buttercream. You're going to see the colour difference here. This is what happens when you mix it for 5 minutes solid. Nobody likes a yellow buttercream. Don't be afraid to whip that bad boy. Add your icing sugar in 2 halves and give a really good mix, like literally 3 to 5 minutes in between each addition, scraping the bowl down as needed. Then I went in with some Horlicks powder and cocoa powder. Again, I really wanted this to be malty, just like a Malteser. Scraping that bowl down again, then you go in with your melted, cooled milk chocolate. It was quite warm in our house, so I did have to put this in the fridge for a little while because it was just a little too on the soft side, but I didn't want to add any more icing sugar or anything like that because it was just going to become too sweet, and this icing is already very sweet. Once the cupcakes were fully cooled, I just piped this on to my cupcakes, decorated it with 3 Maltesers on the top of each one, and then I crushed up some Maltesers and sprinkled those over the top. This is the most malty, chocolatey, moist chocolate cupcake you're ever gonna have. You can put less of the Horlicks powder into the icing if you wanted it to be slightly less malty, because you've also got the Maltesers on top as well, which is going to add to that taste, but it's completely optional, you know, just do whatever you would prefer. 1 cupcake was definitely enough, but my husband ploughed through several of these. They are so sweet and chocolatey, and they've got that crunch from the Malteser on the top. They're just so good.